Have you ever had a moment, just a second in the middle of the chaos, when you felt a knowing deep inside you? Not a thought racing through your brain, not a fleeting feeling, but something quieter, almost timeless. It's like there's a little voice, softer than a whisper, nudging you toward truth. Doesn't this sound familiar? The craziest part is, it doesn't feel like your imagination. And you know it's not coming from your noisy, restless mind. It feels like a signal. Something deep within is trying to reach you. What if that something is real, a guiding light that's been quietly trying to wake you up right in the center of your chest? So, let's get real for a moment. We've all heard the cliches. Follow your heart. Listen to your gut. But what if there's actually a source of deep wisdom inside you, waiting for the right moment to break through the noise? Way before science told us our heart was just a blood pump. Ancient people believed it was the seat of the soul, the throne where our truest self quietly sits. They imagined a spiritual heart, not the one thumping away in your chest, but another kind, made of light and energy, invisible yet somehow more real than your own thoughts. Picture this: inside your chest is a hidden temple, not built out of stone or brick, but made from pure energy, always calm even when your world spins out of control. This spiritual heart isn't just about warm, fuzzy emotions. It's the command center for your deepest energy, pointing you toward your purpose, your integrity, and your connection to the universe itself. The coolest part? You might not see it, but you feel it, sometimes even more powerfully than your wildest thoughts. Today, I want to take you on an adventure, a true journey into that hidden chamber at your center. We'll go way past the usual mystery and look into what ancient wisdom, forgotten teachings, and modern seekers have found about this quiet voice inside. And, most importantly, I'll show you how you can wake up this hidden power in your own everyday life. Why should you care? Because life isn't supposed to be about surviving the to-do list, trudging through Monday after Monday. Awakening the spiritual heart means finally getting off autopilot. It means moving from routine to meaning, from mindless motion to soul-driven awareness. If you've ever craved something deeper, if you've felt that hollow ache for purpose, you're not alone. In fact, you're standing on the threshold of the single greatest mystery of being alive. Let's rewind the clock. Thousands of years ago, wise women and men were already having these experiences. They called this center so many names: the lotus of the chest, the inner temple, the throne of the soul. But whatever you call it, the spiritual heart always had one job: to bridge the gap between human and divine, between your everyday life and the vast mystery that holds you. Look at ancient Egypt. They believed your heart recorded the total truth of your life, more than your brain ever could. When someone died, the heart was weighed against the feather of truth in the great halls of judgment. If it was pure, your soul moved forward. If not, it was game over, done. Notice, it wasn't your brain being judged, but your heart. Imagine that the most advanced civilization of their time, thinking the real you lived, not in your head, but in your chest. Fast forward to India's Vedic traditions. They speak about Anāhata, the fourth chakra, lying right at your heart center. The word Anāhata means unstruck, sound, the original vibration, the pulse beneath all action, where pure awareness and intuition live. Yogis say it's more than just energy swirling around. It's actually the doorway to who you really are, to deep, endless compassion for both yourself and others. And it isn't just the East or the West. This idea is universal, crossing centuries and continents. Islamic mystics, the Sufis, call it called the mirror of the heart. If your mirror is clean, it reflects the divine light. If it's dusty with ego or worldly attachments, all you get is fog and confusion. Sufis don't just want knowledge in their heads, they want an awakened heart. Why? Because that's the true seat of connection with something higher. Even Christianity gets in on this, with the Sacred Heart so often shown as a burning flame in the center of Christ's chest. Visionaries like Saint Teresa of Avila describe the soul as an inner castle, with its deepest room reserved for this sacred heart, a place to meet God, not in the clouds, but right inside you. So what do all these mystical traditions have in common? They're all pointing to a place inside us that's deeper than thought or feeling, a secret room in the house of your soul, where a wisdom older than words still waits for you. They weren't spinning metaphors or telling fairy tales. They were mapping a territory that's as real as your pulse. Here's the thing, our modern world, obsessed with logic, achievement, and hustle, has almost completely abandoned this deeper channel. We decrease everything to data, to pro-Vs, con lists, to what can be proved. And yet, the more stuff we have, the emptier we somehow feel. Why? Because we've gone out of tune with the real beat of our true nature. But here's where things get interesting. The spiritual heart isn't some new age fantasy or a feel-good emoji. It's a real energy hub. You just can't see it with your eyes. To even begin understanding it, you need to step outside regular biology and explore the secret map of who you really are. Ancient teachers said we have many layers, a body, an energy field, our mind, our emotions, and tucked deeper inside, a spiritual body. Right where your energy body crosses over with your soul sits the spiritual heart, a sort of command center where your life energy gathers, where your higher will chooses which way to turn. This isn't about thinking or figuring out your life. The brain is brilliant for solving problems and building dreams, but it works through logic, sequencing, analysis. The heart, the real spiritual heart, works by intuition and recognition. When it's awake, it's like hearing a song you've never heard but somehow already know the words to. Its rhythm is the rhythm of your soul, not your clock. Ancient systems all spoke of an energy field, think aura, subtle body, or light body, and they described energy centers called chakras. The spiritual heart is right smack in the middle of the chest, often matched up with the heart chakra, but truthfully, it's something more. Imagine the chakra as an instrument, spinning and tuning you to life. The spiritual heart, that's the musician, playing the melody only you can sing. So, buckle up. In the next part, we'll dive even deeper into what actually happens when this spiritual heart wakes up, how it turns your world inside out, and what ancient wisdom has to teach us about facing the ego and the blocks that keep us asleep. Until then, just take a breath and feel the quiet inside your chest. That's more than a heartbeat. It's your soul's gentle knock. Are you ready to open the door? Awakening the spiritual heart, turning the key. Alright, so you're still here, curious and maybe a bit more attuned to that gentle pulse inside. You might wonder, now what? Let's make this personal. If that whisper in your chest truly is your spiritual heart, how do you actually hear what it has to say? And why doesn't everyone seem to feel it all the time? Well, waking up the spiritual heart isn't like flipping a switch or chanting a magic word. It's more like tuning into a secret radio channel that's always broadcasting, but only becomes clear when you learn how to listen. In almost every ancient teaching, the first step is stillness, creating a moment of inner quiet in a world that never shuts up. Have you ever sat in total silence, not just in the room but in your mind, kicking back, putting your phone down, and just letting the world fall away for 5 or 10 minutes? Those moments of nothingness, when you stop fighting your thoughts, are the cracks where the light of your spiritual heart slips in. It's those rare times you may feel a presence in your chest, a warm tingling, a sense of expansion, a gentle pulse that's different from simple emotion. That feeling is your spiritual heart waking up, even if just for a second at first. But here's the catch, your mind and ego don't exactly like this idea. The ego, that tricky part of you that clings to identity, control, and the stories you tell about yourself, puts up a fight. It runs on fear, comparison, and the desperate need to be seen a certain way. It's like your ego is always playing defense, while your spiritual heart just is open, fearless, always in tune with the bigger picture. The more you try to chase away the ego, the louder it gets. The secret isn't to conquer the ego, but to let a deeper awareness quietly take its place. The more you listen to your heart, the more the ego's grip starts to loosen, and a gentler, wiser presence begins to run the show. In mystical traditions, from all over Buddhism, Sufism, Christian mysticism, you'll hear about a sacred fire that burns in the chest. Alchemists called it the fire of transformation. Kabbalists named it the divine spark. You might not see flames, but when your spiritual heart switches on, it can feel like an inner glow, a silent energy that begins to reshape you from the inside out. It's like your soul has been sitting in a dark room for ages, and suddenly someone throws open the curtains. But how do you keep the flame alive? Think of it this way. Your spiritual heart needs room to breathe, just like a seed needs air and sunlight to break through the soil. Start with making space. Silence, stillness, mindfulness. These aren't hokey self-help tips. They're the tools that create an open field where the spiritual heart can grow. Try this at least once a day. Close your eyes, place your hand on your chest, and just listen without expectation. You might notice warmth, tingling, or just a quiet presence. That's the beginning. Don't force it, invite it. Then, pay attention to how you live. When your thoughts, words, and actions line up, when you mean what you say and actually do it, your spiritual energy flows clean and strong. If you live split between what you say and what you do, you'll feel blocked and scattered. Integrity is fuel for the spiritual heart. Without it, the light inside stays dim. But life isn't always easy. Pain, loss, mistakes, the hardest things you go through, are often the greatest keys to awakening your heart. Instead of avoiding your pain, let it soften you. Ask, what needs to change in me? Sometimes, the heart comes alive only when the old masks fall away. When you're at your lowest, you're also closest to your core truth. And there's another secret: serving others with genuine love. When you help, not because you should, but because you truly see yourself in someone else, the light in your heart gets brighter. Every small act of kindness is like striking a match in the darkness, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Lastly, gratitude isn't just an attitude, it's a vibration. When you practice deep, sincere gratitude, your spiritual heart unfurls itself like a flower in the sun. Be thankful for the big things and the little stuff, for joy and hardship alike. That's what turns an ordinary life into something sacred. So, getting to know your spiritual heart is less about finding something new and more about uncovering what's always been hidden. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to get real with yourself, to drop the masks. Stop performing and listen. Every tradition, every wise soul who ever walked this earth, knew that the true journey wasn't up a ladder but inward, toward the center of your being. In the next part, we'll dive into what happens when your spiritual heart takes the lead, how it can change your everyday life, supercharge your intuition, and bring true connection in a disconnected world. For now, remember, the quiet pulse inside your chest isn't just a heartbeat. It's the invitation of a lifetime, one only you can accept. Living from the spiritual heart, the journey home. So you're ready to take the next step? Let's talk about what happens when you really start living from your spiritual heart. This isn't about becoming someone else or escaping the real world. It's about rooting yourself so deeply in your true center that every part of your life begins to change, sometimes in ways you never expected. Imagine this: life finally slows down. Not the outer pace, you'll still have responsibilities, bills, the never-ending to-do list, but the inner rush quiets. The noise and worry that used to rattle you start to lose their grip. You notice an unshakable peace at your core. a gentle sense that everything is happening exactly as it's supposed to, even when it makes no sense to your mind. Living from the spiritual heart is like having a compass in the storm that always points you home, no matter how wild things get. Here's the real magic. When your spiritual heart leads, you gain a kind of intuition that feels ancient. It's not overthinking or a flash of genius, but a quiet knowing. You just get what's true or right for you, and your choices come with more clarity, even if you can't always explain them to others. It's as if you've plugged yourself into a bigger source of wisdom, something way beyond the limit of your brain. You stop seeing yourself as separate from everyone else. Compassion flows more easily, and forgiveness comes naturally, not because you force it, but because you genuinely feel connected. Conflicts become opportunities to grow. You detect when someone's in pain or struggling, not through their words, but through a subtle resonance. You just sense it in your heart. Daily life loses its dullness. The smallest moments, sunlight through a window, a kind word, a quiet evening, feel rich and meaningful. You're no longer chasing happiness out there. Joy arises from deep within, on its own timetable. You might notice your energy shifting too. Some call it prana, chai, or simply life force. You have more stamina even when life throws curveballs. Your body starts to feel lighter and more at ease. It's as if your whole system recalibrates, so you can move through life with grace, instead of grinding through with effort. Most important of all, the spiritual heart churns out a new kind of guidance. Some describe it as an inner voice, not the critic or the worrier, but a wise, steady presence. It doesn't shout, it waits for you to listen. When you're about to make a big decision or hit a rough patch, tune in. Ask your heart, what's the loving thing to do? What's true for me? The answers arrive, often as a gentle feeling or a sudden sense of peace. Of course, there will still be moments of upset, doubt, and pain. Awakened living isn't a bubble of constant bliss. But with the spiritual heart awake, these moments don't crush you. Instead, pain becomes a teacher, a sign to go back to your core, to gently ask, what am I ready to let go of? What deeper truth is calling me now? You also stop running from discomfort and instead meet it with acceptance and curiosity. When the ego flares up with fear or old stories, you notice it. Thank it for trying to protect you and let it pass. The grip of old patterns loosens, and a fresh freedom takes their place. Here's the invitation. Don't leave these ideas as just nice thoughts. Make them real in your world. Begin each morning with a simple grounding ritual. Put your hand on your chest. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and ask your heart how it feels today. Let that gentle voice guide small choices: what to say, how to react, what to do next. Over time, these small acts add up, reshaping your entire life from the inside out. Be kind to yourself. Awakening the spiritual heart is a lifelong practice, full of ups and downs. Some days, you'll feel deeply connected, other days, lost. That's all part of the journey home. Wherever you are, whether you feel a faint ember or a roaring fire in your chest, honor it. Every act of listening, every moment of stillness, waters the seeds of the spiritual heart. The more you trust that quiet wisdom, the more your life will blossom in ways that surprise and delight you. Remember, this isn't an escape from the world, but a way to come home to it fully alive, deeply rooted, and wide open to the beauty and mystery that's always been waiting for you inside. Let your spiritual heart become your true north. Welcome home.